I need to.
We want to welcome you this morning to the Drainage District Board of Directors meeting for today, October the 28th, 2014. The entire court being present, we have a quorum. We got two people signed up under open forum. First one is Kathy Olivares.
I had a request from a reader to ask Godfrey in the meeting about the bond issue. This person lives on the banks of the Mission Lateral, and he said that during the recent flooding that it barely held, and he wants to know, they've been paying on the bond debt for 2 years, and when they will work on the Mission Lateral, and so on.
I didn't hear the question, but Dave, did you hear it?
Yes, sir, I did. I will address it.
All right, good. Go ahead.
Okay. I also, excuse me, we have an item on the agenda for a presentation of the board to give you an update on it. We have been working with the IBWC and the Irrigation District Number 1 based on the authority the board gave us on moving forward with the certification of the levee in the Peñita pump structure. 2 weeks ago, it appears that the IBWC finally moved forward and gave the go-ahead to URS, which is their engineering company, to begin the reconstruction, the last piece of levees on both sides of the pump house, of the Peñita pump house. Based on that, we are now going forward with the structure itself on Peñitas. We were going to try to have an item on the agenda for the board consideration today, but the documents that Dan and Mom Engineer were preparing were not completed on time Friday, but they'll be on for the next item. But I just wanted to have the board and the public understand that we are moving forward with the Peñita pump structure to complete the certification on it. We will move forward and meet with FEMA to make sure, see what criteria they're going to want for the pump house, to make sure we close on it, and move forward with the documents. IBWC has informed us that they should have their plans and ready to go out to bid by April of next year.
However, it is only on the levees. What about the pump house? Do we have the monies for that?
Well, we don't know what the cost is going to be. That's why the board authorized for Dannenbaum to move forward with an analysis to see if the pump house is going to be able to be reconstructed or if something else is going to have to be built there.
And who's responsible for that?
Sir?
Who is responsible for it?
Basically, on the interlocal agreement, the irrigation district is coming up with, I think it's $400,000 to $500,000. The drainage district will be moving forward on the reconstruction of the structure itself. But we will give more details once we get all the information and have a full item on the agenda for the board's consideration.
All right. Next item is the approval of the consent agenda. Are there any concerns?
Judge, there's one correction on item 4. On the third paragraph, there's invoice number 1132-4956 in the amount of $47,672.86 from LNG Consulting Engineers. This invoice should be for La Jolla Watershed Improvement Project instead of the Mission
consent agenda with corrections on item number 4.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, next item number 4, sir.
Item 4, approval of interlocal cooperative agreement between Delta Lake Irrigation District and Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 as it relates to the drainage improvements to a portion of the right-of-way. This has been prepared by legal counsel from Atlas Hall. This is related to the east lateral, Commissioner Cuellar. This is on the right-of-ways being acquired where we will take responsibility for the maintenance and the issues along with that ditch.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Item 5, requesting approval to purchase uniforms for HCDD1 employees from UniFirst through the district membership with NJPA National Joint Power Alliance, contract number 012111-UFC. It's been 2 years since we purchased uniforms for the employees, so we're back online to get uniforms for them.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
I've got a question. Is this going to be rental or
We buy them, sir, and then they maintain them. Yes, sir.
All right.
It was more economical than paying rental on them. May I proceed, sir?
Yes, please.
Item B, requesting approval to purchase system design and integration services data drops from Superior Alarms through the district membership with buy board contract number 409-12 and 401-12. We are relocating the time clocks inside where the employees clock in so they won't be congested, so we're separating them out, so that's what the drops are for.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C, requesting approval to purchase one Hondesk from Gateway Printing and Office Supply, Inc. through the district's membership with Tax Mass Contract Number 671111060-1111. Basically, we're realigning the desks that we have inside the reception area for moving that desk to the back to the GIS and putting a smaller desk up front.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 with R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation to agreement professional services, assessment and repair of aluminum structural plate arch at the Mission Inlet Crossing on McCall Road as to add sub-consultants and their rates to the agreement for the construction material testing services. This is just the actual language to approve the supplemental.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Godfrey,
Yes, sir.
when is construction supposed to start?
They were waiting to receive the arch plate, Commissioner. My understanding from Mr. Gutierrez that they should be receiving the arch plate within the next 2 weeks. That's why they want the material testing company on board. So I would say within the next 2 to 3 weeks, Commissioner.
It should be done.
I don't know if it's a 60-day contract or... It's a 90-day contract for Foremost to be doing it, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Item E, pursuant to the board's approval of supplemental agreement number 1 with R. Gutierrez Engineering Corporation, requesting approval of work authorization number 3 in the amount of $3,201.55 as it relates to construction material testing services for the repairs of an aluminum structural plate arch at the Mission Inlet Crossing on McCall Road.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
2013 bond series. Item F, requesting approval of change order number 4 with IPR South Central to extend contract time as it relates to contract number TP0713 Precinct 2 Radal Drain Reroute Project. The project is completed. We're trying to close up the items right now. The engineers are working with the contractor to make sure that there are no outstanding items as far as potential change orders or the closing of the project. So we'd like to extend it for, I believe, another 30 days to try to get all the documentation and present to the board if there's going to be any change orders because of additional water or seepage coming through the site.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, request approval of work authorization number 1 with DOS Logistics, Inc. in the amount of $38,811 for engineering services that relates to Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Development, La Blanca Area Drainage Improvements. This is in Commissioner Joseph Palacios' area. We've been working with them on trying to get these contracts.
Move for
moved
approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
8, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 to agreement for professional services with DOS Logistics, Inc. as it relates to Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Development, La Blanca Area Drainage Improvement, as to add sub-consultants and the rates to the agreement for surveying and geotechnical services. Again, there's no cost to it. This is just adding the subs to the language.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item J, pursuant to the board's approval of supplemental agreement number 1 with DOS Logistics, Inc., requesting approval for work authorization number 3 in the amount of $7,750 as it relates to geotechnical services for Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Development, La Blanca Area Drainage Improvements.
Move for approval.
Yes, sir.
You skipped number.
Yeah, aye.
I apologize. I'll go up. If y'all want to consider action on J, then I'll do I.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Go
Item I,
ahead.
pursuant to the board's approval of supplemental agreement number 1 with DOS Logistics, Inc., requesting approval of work authorization number 2 in the amount of $9,432 as it relates to surveying services for Precinct 4 Rural Drainage Development, La Blanca Area Drainage Improvements.
Approval.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item K, requesting approval of work authorization number 1 with DOS Logistics, Inc. in the amount of $29,088 for engineering services that relates to Precinct 4 Alamo Lateral Control Structure.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item L, requesting approval of supplemental agreement number 1 to agreement for professional services with DOS Logistics, Inc. as it relates to Precinct 4 Alamo Lateral Control Structure as to add sub-consultants and the rates to the agreement for surveying and geotechnical services.
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item M, pursuant to the board's approval of supplemental agreement number 1 with DOS Logistics, Inc., requesting approval of work authorization number 2 in the amount of $8,558.40 as it relates to surveying services for Precinct 4 Alamo Lateral Control Structure.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item N, pursuant to the board's approval of supplemental agreement number 1 with Doss Logistics, Inc., requesting approval of work authorization number 3 in the amount of $7,790 as it relates to the geotechnical services for Precinct 4 Alamo Lateral Control Structure.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Under item O, yes, item O, requesting approval to accept bids and award construction contract to lowest bidder meeting all required specifications for RFB number 8CDD1 14028-1009 drainage control structure Monte Cristo and Weslaco North Lateral to M5 Texas Enterprises in the amount of $384,016. These are the projects that we got no bidders on last time, Commissioners, so we put them together. And so it got a little bit bigger, so we got more bidders on this particular project. And that was a low bidder with a letter of recommendation.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 6, Judge, I would like to come back for the board to consider action after executive session.
All right.
Under item 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, I will turn this over to Ms. Laura Briones on this.
Good morning. Alfredo Samarripa with the Hidalgo County Treasurer's Office. Item number 7, it's discussion, consideration, and approval regarding the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 investment policy per Chapter 2256.005E of the Local Government Code. We're just bringing this policy. There's no changes from last year. I think we presented the Hidalgo County one on September 30th, and now we're bringing the one for the Drainage District.
So no changes?
No changes.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 8.
Approval of amendment to amend and reinstate interlocal cooperation agreement between Hidalgo County and Drainage District Number 1.
Judge,
Second.
no
What are we trying to do here?
The interlocal would include or allow the financial advisor to work for the district through the interlocal.
Can we do that, Steve?
We checked the interlocal on Monday and with the county, and that interlocal does not provide for financial advisory services.
I have to do, they have to come to you with another local and.
Well, we have another thing on the agenda. I'll explain that.
All right, the issue is that we're trying to get the bonds refinanced or refunded in hopes of being able to save about $650,000. And yesterday, I asked you, Mr. Crane, if he had any way of that he saw legally that will allow us to be able to do that. We don't want to give up making or earning $650,000 on this issue. Were you able to find any?
I do have a way.
What is it?
Well, if it's going to be reflected later on the agenda, this board gave the Drainage District Authority back in March 2014 to go for an RFQ for financial advisory services.
Repeat that again, please.
In March, I believe it's March 6, 2014, this board gave the Drainage District Authority to advertise for RFQ for financial advisors. And we could, if we put the RFQ out today, we could probably come back to this board and have a financial advisor in place by the end of November. That would give us all of December to put the bond deal together.
But I understand that the document, could we properly call Mr. Hinojosa to come and explain the procedure?
Right. Another thing
and the time period.
The other thing I want to say is, according to somebody in your office, they said it can only be done once a year. And so if we couldn't do it in December, I'm presuming, that's why Mr. Hinojosa would be able to help us, I'm presuming we could do it in January, because that's another calendar year.
Well, can we get him to explain it here this morning?
Sure.
Noe, would you mind telling us what's involved? What do we have to do in order to be able to save those $650,000?
Good morning, Court and board members. Noe Hinojosa, for the record, with the Stratton Hinojosa and Company, serve the county's financial advisor. And basically, this is a financing that is sort of not your natural financing in the sense that the interest rate that you will be achieving for doing this transaction is given by the IRS an additional category that allows you to borrow the money at about 40 to 50 basis points, a half a percentage point lower than what the market has to offer. It's a very small transaction. It's money that you're not, in our opinion, you're not supposed to leave out there. And in order to get there, it has to be done, the transaction has to be done before December 31. So the difficulty here is, how do we get this transaction done before December 31? So if you go through a process of soliciting this type of services, then it could potentially compromise getting us there on time. Today is October the 28th. We got November. I mean, it takes about 30 days to prepare these documents, and then once you sell them, you got to close. The Attorney General's office in Austin gives the opinion in regards to the validity of this transaction, and it just takes time to get.
So the concern is the time that it's going to take to prepare the documents, to sell the bonds, or to get the Attorney General to act during the holidays.
That's correct, sir. Yeah.
We're going to be running it real close. What about going through Chuy Ramirez, Steve? We have him as bond counsel.
You have him as bond counsel.
Why can't we go work through him, let Chuy hire whoever he needs to hire to guide him, and let's get through this thing?
I think we need to talk to Chuy, because he's on, I believe well, that's a question after the Drainage District. Is he currently on board with the Drainage District?
He is. Yes.
I think we contact Chuy.
All right.
We'll have meetings on next 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, we need to do it this morning.
You want to, I guess, table the item, come back, and maybe I could call Counsel Ramirez?
Let me call him. Yeah.
Are you go to the next one or what?
No,
Wait.
says for whatever long it takes a judge. Right. It's contract of the agenda.
All right, I'm not sure we recessed, but we're back in session. I visited with Mr. Ramirez, Chuy Ramirez, our bond counsel, and he believes it can be done. He is on his way here from his office, and I asked that we recess this meeting and proceed to the regular county commissioners court meeting and then come back to this item after he gets here. Yeah. Laura, what we're talking about relates to both 8 and 9, am I correct?
Yes.
And 10 and 11 also.
Oh, and 10 and 11, oh, all right. Is there anything under executive session?
Yes, sir, there is.
All right, why don't we proceed to executive session while we're waiting for Mr. Ramirez to get here?
You want to open the meeting?
We did open.
The Commissioner's Court?
No. We're not through yet. I need a motion pursuant to 551071072 to proceed to executive session. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, we're back in session. Go ahead, sir.
Judge, under item 6, discussion and approval of counteroffer as it relates to JL9 Drainage Project land acquisition of parcel 57. We have an appraised value of $8,786, and we have a negotiated counteroffer of $10,786. I would like for the board to consider accepting this counteroffer and closing on this property.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
We have another item, Judge, but I believe you wanted to recess the board.
Okay. This time, we're going to be recessing on items number 8, 9, 10, and 11, and we'll be reconvening back here when Mr. Ramirez gets here.
Thank you very much, Judge, Commissioners.
He did. Okay. You can do both of them together or what? Godfrey.
Did you do both?
The other one was not listed on the agenda.
Well, at this time, we're going to be convening a regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court. The entire court is present. I know Commissioner Tito Palacio stepped out, but he'll be right back. We have a quorum. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for this day. Thank you for the freedom to come together and discuss many things, and we don't always agree, but thank you for the blessing of living in a free country, dear Lord. We ask you to bless our country, bless the whole world with all the strife that is going on, bless all the people who are suffering and some dying for what they believe. We ask you, dear Lord, to always guide us, protect us, help us come to an understanding whenever we do have differences of opinion. We thank you for all your blessings and ask you to bless those less fortunate than ourselves. And we ask this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Ofracio, any concerns with the consent agenda?
Yes, Judge. I would like to ask that consent agenda item 3A, 4E, 14C, and 14F be pulled for discussion. I don't know if anybody else has any item. Brother, you have any item that you want to pull? I guess not. So
Move for approval without 3A, 4E, 14C, and 14F.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
you can address something?
Yes, Judge Commissioners, item 3A is a line item transfer for the Wake Department. However, the fiscal year is incorrectly listed on the agenda. It should be fiscal year 2014. Recommending approval with that correction.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 4E is approval of 2014 interdepartmental transfer from Precinct 4 Maintenance Program to their Administration Program in the amount of $5,250. If we can have this approved subject to approval of regular agenda item 20A, which would provide the funding for this transfer. If we can have that approved subject to agenda item 20A.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
On item 14C, we did receive a much better proposal from the vendor that was attached yesterday and sent via email to the parties that were not only to be attached to the agenda, but the parties that needed to have it. And so I recommend approval. And it's in the amount of $91,242 as opposed to what's posted on the agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And on agenda item 14F, there was a typo indicating that the contingency allowance was $8,900.10, and it is $8,900, period. So we do concede that correction, and I recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Marty.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we have our tax assessor collector is requesting that we take up his item. Item number 13A has another commitment. Paul?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. I'm working on our tax statements coming out hopefully by Friday, so I appreciate you getting me out.
We're all looking forward to it.
I bet. I always introduce myself as the most well-liked person in this county when I tell them about tax. Okay, yeah, I'm here before you to see if, respectfully asking for me to collect the $20 fee at the office. When they bring the invoice from the JPs, I can go ahead and collect the monies at that time there.
Move for approval?
Second. Second.
Judge,
Yes.
this court approved or authorized the JPs to assess and collect this fee. Concern that I have is that we might have duplicate assessment and collection of this fee. That's one of the issues that I have. I think the issue that the tax office has is that some JPs are waiving the fee. When court approved the assessment and collection of this fee, you didn't approve the waiving, and we already notified the JPs that, as far as we know, they don't have any authority to waive.
Well, I don't know if they're doing it. They may or may not be, but what we're doing right now is removing it from their jurisdiction and authority and placing it in Paul, and the money will be going to the general fund. Correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be collecting it there at our office.
So I guess someone is going to notify the JPs that no longer have authority to assess and collect.
Yeah,
Now it will be transferred to the tax office.
That's correct. That $20 fee is going to be collected by the
tax office.
By the tax office.
Now, the other issue is the waiving of the fee. So you're authorizing the assessment and collection, no waiving of this fee?
I don't do any waiving. That would be up to the JP, I believe.
Right. No, no, the judge says that the JPs are no longer going to collect, and now you're going to collect this fee.
Correct, yes. I'm going to collect $20.
My question to the Commissioner's Court is, are they going to authorize you to waive it or not?
I don't believe that would be proper.
You know, we've never authorized anybody to waive it.
But No, but see, Judge, but that's the issue, that before, when you authorize the JPs to
But that's
assess and
another
collect-
issue, Mr. Ofracio, that relates to the JPs, not Paul.
Right, no,
would take-
but Judge, but the issue was that since the assessment and collecting authority that you gave to them was silent, they took it upon themselves to waive it. So my question is, now you're going to transfer it over to the tax office, so you're going to authorize him to assess and collect with no waiving? That's the question.
I think the
Okay,
intent of the
all
board
right.
is
So I
not
just want to make sure that it's clear, there's no waiving.
You understand that, Paul?
Right, yeah, there's no waiving.
All right.
But, I mean, I'm not going to waive $20. I took the responsibility of taking over 200,000 tickets and collecting over $40 million, so I want to bring those funds to the county.
Now, Judge, this law, under the statute, can be assessed, I mean, the fee can be assessed for any fines, can be assessed to anyone that owes fines, fees, or tax to the county. So the assessment of this fee is going to be for anyone that owes a fine and fee or tax to the county? Because currently is being assessed only on fines and fees, is not being assessed on delinquent taxpayers. So my question is, you going to authorize the tax office to assess a $20 scofflaw fee to anyone that owes a fine, a fee, or a tax to the county? Property tax.
We're doing it just strictly right now on tickets that are at the JP's office. That's what we're doing currently right now. So I'm only here just for me to collect the $20 so I can account for it and, and keep track of whatever invoice they bring me, I'll collect those $20, and the JP don't have to have that extra burden, and we can do it ourselves since we'll keep better accountability of those $20.
So again, I want to make clear that I understand whether or not you're going to allow the tax office to assess a $20 scofflaw fee on any delinquent taxes. You say not, Judge? Because the law allows you to do that. It allows you to assess a fee on a delinquent fee, tax, or fine to the county.
Well, we're talking about the scofflaw that we passed a couple of years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And that relates to unpaid fines, and I believe that was it.
Yes, I think right now we're only dealing with the issue of the outstanding tickets. I know that the law allows for delinquent tax fees to be collected for delinquent taxpayers where you can collect the fee, but right now I think the agenda is only on the ticket, so I'm here to...
And I can appreciate that our JPs may have felt they had the discretion to accept or waive or do whatever they felt was proper in each one of the cases, but you don't have that discretion.
No.
And we know that, and so you're going to be collecting all of them and placing it in the general fund.
Right.
So Mr. Villarreal, so you're asking the court, and court is going to grant you the authority to assess and collect only on what, on fines?
Only the fines for the outstanding tickets of the JPs at this time, yes.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You already approved it, Judge? It's already been
motion
voted,
second.
Steve? Not yet.
Judge, you do have a motion, a second?
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, we have Mayor Richard Garcia from the city of Edinburgh and Mayor Jim Darling from the city of McAllen. Both of you gentlemen are here on the same issue, or? Okay. Well, since we took over the Mayor Garcia spot here, what item are you here on?
Paul shouldn't waive any of that.
Okay. Then, Mayor Darling, man, what a name.
Say it again.
What item, that's the...
That's 6A, Judge.
6? Well, okay, why don't we take up 6A then? Presentation from the City of McAllen relating to the creation of the Reinvestment Zone Number 1, City of McAllen, Texas.
Judge Bobby Villarreal with the County Judge's Office. We were presented this item some time ago. Our TERS policy is that the County Judge's Office and the Commissioner's Office that this proposed TERS resides in, plus the Budget Office would meet, and so we have been meeting with the City of McAllen regarding this project. Sergio from Budget Office, Jesse from Precinct 4, and myself and Michael Leo from the Judge's Office have been meeting. We've been looking at the numbers. We've been meeting quite frequently. It is a good project. I think they can elaborate on the scope and size and what they're looking at. But I don't know if Commissioner Palacios, you want to
Well, I do
interject?
acknowledge, Mr. Rhodes is in the audience as well. I do want to acknowledge him. We did have extensive meetings. I know the city of McAllen had taken the lead for the most part, being the fact that they're looking at annexing the area. But I'll allow the mayor or Mike and to shed light on the development. Obviously, it's a 2,500 acre development. It's unique of its kind. What it's going to do, it's going to transform the way most of our area is being developed. It's managed and planned pretty efficiently and effectively for what we would consider to be a model development. But we're in full support of it. I know, Mayor, would you like to cover some key points to it?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, Judge, the City Commission considered this last night for the second preliminary approval, if you will, and the final approval will be done within the next 60 days. But we feel it's a very exciting project for our city. You know, we've developed in 20 and 40 acre tracts pretty much all of our existence, or even less than that from a standpoint. So a chance to have a 2,500 acre planned community is very exciting. I think it's unique for all of us, and we're excited to go forward with this. I think the major concept of this is, from a standpoint, it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything to develop this, and if it goes undeveloped, we don't make any money off of this from a tax collection standpoint. And as developed in accordance with the proposals, it's going to be a fantastic project for all of us, and eventually a significant payer of ad valorem taxes to our communities. And so we'd respectfully request that you would give it favorable consideration. And I think your motion is also for a preliminary approval today.
Yes, and Judge, Commissioners, we do have a policy set. In this case, we're going to have to give some direction to staff, being the fact that it's outside of what we typically do. Of course, this is very unique in nature, being the fact that the city is looking at annexing the area. We don't have any responsibility once they annex it with police protection and all that. It does allow, there is a significant contribution that the developer's given us in the fact of the drainage aspects. We're looking at being beneficiaries of over $6 million of a drainage asset. The developer is looking at working with our school district as well to provide 3 school locations for the area. Again, as the mayor was saying, we have no burden, county burdens in there to provide services in the area, and it's one of the things that we'd love to, if it's the will of the court, to give direction to our staff to commit to this development. Obviously, it's the will of the court, but I am in full support of this project.
I have no problem with it. Go for it.
All right, were you going to make a presentation, or was that it?
Well, unless you wanted to.
No, I mean, it's on the agenda.
If we got the votes, I know when to stop drilling. Thank you.
Okay, so you got 2 meetings out of the way with the city?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right.
And again, Judge, Commissioners, I guess right now, like Commissioner Palacios was saying, that it's outside of our policy, so we would have to amend our policy. So we're just seeking some direction from the court to work on that and finalize the numbers with, or fine-tune the numbers with McAllen.
What is the county looking at as far as money?
If this is approximately around a $2.6 billion project over 30 years, and so they're looking at 80% of our M&O and 80% of the city's M&O tax rate, which is not the entire tax rate, but just the maintenance operations. So the county's contribution to the project would be about $145 million. The city would be $119 million. And over that time, the collections would be around $36 million for us and around $45 million for the city.
And what is the policy that we have that needs to be modified?
Right now, we're at a 50% of the M&O over 20 years.
50?
50%.
5-0?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was a policy that y'all enacted, I think, a few years ago. Prior to that, most of them had been close to 100% of, or if not 100% of M&O, and some of them ranged from 20 to 25 years, I think. So And I think the one thing about this project, you're talking about water reuse. That's a big issue here. I mean, if you're talking about developments, you know, these are the kind of developments we hope that this county starts having outside the cities, so that we kind of limit ourselves from rural colonia type things. But we can go back and talk to the city and modify the policy and bring it back to y'all for y'all's.
So if it's 50% over what period of time?
20 years.
20? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Judge. Yeah, that's a current policy, Judge. And
Okay.
what they're proposing is, I believe, is a 80%
80%
at this point in time.
Over 30.
Basically, the staff needs just direction whether or not the 80 is reasonable, or if not, we would, if we're encouraging the staff to negotiate a little more. Obviously, I mean, it's a big development. There's been no other that we've ever dealt with in regards to something like this, especially without having to have the burden of services as well.
And I believe there's approximately $6 million of drainage that they're dedicating to the county, so.
That they're going to contribute?
Yes, and of course, the school properties.
The other thing is emergency response. They're planning a fire department. City of McAllen, as you know, in the past has always assisted the county with hurricane response, and also it puts city services closer to rural areas where, in fact, we do not have that type of service as well.
Bobby, where's this site located at, with this zone?
It is north.
It's a southwest corner of Ware Road and Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo and
Ware.
Ware.
Several years ago, remember when they were doing that project in Mission? They've been talking about it for a long, long time.
Any other questions? If not, any comments? Okay. If there's no question, no further discussion, then, will Bobby just meet with the developers and their representatives and
You'll be coming with a formal.
Yes.
come back and report to us?
We can modify policy and then bring it to the court and then adopt a resolution if you also desire.
Yeah, I think the consensus is that the court favors the project.
Okay.
We just need to look at the details of it
Okay.
and see how favorable it is that we have an opinion about it.
The county staff has been meeting with the city staff and the developer at the same time, so we've been doing this in conjunction with the
All right.
county staff, Judge. And we'll continue to do that.
Okay, Mayor.
Thank you, Court.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, you want to do item 6B?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Erika Reina from the County Judge's Office. Item 6B is discussion, consideration, and action on a letter regarding increased access to health care coverage for all Texans. This is a letter that the Equal Voice Network approached us of. As you know, we have the highest percentage of people that are uninsured. And so this is a letter to our state legislators, just asking them to look for a way to increase health care coverage.
All right, any discussion, any questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 6C, discussion regarding a possible decrease for the Hidalgo County tax rate contingent on passage of the county hospital district. I've been okay.
If it passes.
At this time, we're going to recess our county meeting and reconvene our drainage district meeting now that we've been advised that our bond counsel, Mr. Ramirez, is here. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Judge.
Welcome to your
Morning,
drainage
Commissioners. How are you?
Chewy, we're trying to save $650,000.
Judge,
We've been at
reconvene drainage district.
I just did.
You did reconvene? Okay, I'm sorry.
We're trying to save $650,000 by getting involved in refunding, refinancing the bonds that are in issue.
Yes, sir.
And we're trying to figure out a way to do it since we don't have in place a financial analyst. And we thought about going through you as bond counsel would be a way of getting it done.
Well, let me make a suggestion to you first. You've got an item on the agenda, which is to authorize an order, approve an order authorizing the issuance of refunding bonds and delegating certain decisions to the officers of the district. And I would like for you to adopt that. Let me tell you what that does for you. What that does is it sets in motion the process of the refunding. That's the first step that we need to take today. The other matters on the agenda, I understand, are no longer viable for consideration, and so those will be off the table. But let's go ahead and adopt this order. We've done this before, and it's a process specifically authorized by law that allows the district to go into market, and be ready and available to do a refunding if and when certain parameters are met by the market, and that would be when you get a sufficiently low interest rate and someone's interested in
what item are you talking about?
I'm talking about the item, I believe it's entitled Order Authorizing Issuance, Sale, and Delivery of Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Unlimited Tax.
Number 8.
Item 10.
Item number 10.
What about 8? No.
So that's the item that's under consideration right now.
Well, we started off in issue are items 8, 9, 10, and 11. All relate to the same issue.
Okay.
Go ahead. Well, Judge,
The one in question
if we
was 8.
take his recommendation, then item 8, 9, and 11, we'd have no action.
Correct. Okay. So the one that we need to look at is item number 8 then.
Item 10.
Item 10. We don't need 8 and we don't need 9.
We don't need any local.
Or 11, she's saying.
Is that correct, Tree?
You don't need them now. What we're going to be doing is, if you adopt the order that I'm suggesting that you adopt, then that'll give us 2 or 3 days to legally address all the other issues that are concerned. Because right now, we don't have a handle on those.
All right.
Okay, but this is the question.
Keep in mind, though, we're not going to have a meeting right away. Our next meeting is probably within 2 weeks. We could probably call for an emergency, a special meeting.
Judge, if need be, we could call a meeting as appropriate.
All right.
This is a regular meeting today, correct? All right, okay.
Right, yes.
I think that the important thing right now is to adopt this order.
All right.
And again, this sets it in
Let's
place.
go to item number 10, consideration and approval of an order authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 Unlimited Tax Refunding Bonds, Series 2014.
That's your recommendation, right?
That is.
Move for approval.
Delegating authority to.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 10 passes.
The whole item.
Okay, now with respect to the other items, what I'm suggesting is the following. I will get together with the district's council and with the staff, and this is what we're going to be addressing. Do we have the capability among ourselves? I believe we do, but confirm that. Do we have the capability to proceed without a financial advisor, one, or two, do we have a legally binding relationship with any financial advisor that we can tap for this service?
Well,
If we go with the
we probably have it with First Southwest.
Okay. Well, if we do, then that would be obviously them willing and us willing, that would be the easiest way to proceed and do this deal. I understand that there's substantial savings on this transaction, but there's a timing issue. It's got to be sold and closed before the end of the year.
I was looking at the contract, and First Southwest in 2011 was issued a 5-year contract, not a 3-year contract. But they were given a 5-year contract with 2 one-year automatic extensions, unless they were no written notice was given to them that they were being terminated.
I see.
And I don't believe any written notice was ever given by anyone that they had been terminated. So in effect, we still have probably, for all practical purposes, a contractual relationship with him.
It would
with
seem
the
so,
drainage
that's
district.
correct. So we'll address that issue as well.
Steve,
I have not seen that contract.
But I think we should be able to address this thing within within a day or so, Steve.
And Mr. Ramirez, if you can meet me in the back, I can talk to you after you get finished.
I'm sorry?
If you can meet me in the back, I'll talk to you after you
All
get
right.
finished.
Señor contrato.
Judge, on
10, ¿verdad?
10.
item 10, the whole wording was included in the motion.
Right, the whole thing, the motion. All of item 10.
Yeah, all of 10.
You want to delegate that to 22?
Does he need to read all the item?
No.
With the term. Fíjense lo que look at the term and the termination clauses.
Financial advisory.
I'm not going to read the whole contract.
There's a question, have we notified them?
I'm not sure if you prepared it or who did, but that's the one we signed, or was signed back in 2011.
Let me talk to Chewy about that in the back.
I think that while he's looking at that, typically the FA agreements that I have seen provide for a 30-day written notice of termination, which is conditional. If that's the case, you probably then have a binding relationship with them.
But I was looking at the term, there was a 5-year term with 2 one-year extensions that were automatic unless notice was given, written notice. And I know discussions were held here in open court, but I don't believe that they ever got any written notice.
I see. Well, maybe they've taken the position that they're no longer FAs, and that'll take care of that.
Part of themselves?
Judge, it does say 5 years, but the question is, did this court ever give notice, or did this board ever give notice of termination?
Well, it's got to be written notice, not just notice.
The termination notice that was submitted for court approval, there was no action on there
For the drainage district?
for the drainage district on March the 5th.
We just need to confirm that. If that's true, then they may still be viable.
Okay.
So then we'll proceed that way.
Okay, that sounds like the most practical way of doing it. We want to make sure we take advantage of this money that is out there that we need to save for the county.
Yes, sir. Very well. Thank you very much.
No action on 8, 9, and 11, Judge?
No action on 8, 9, and 11, correct. I need a motion to adjourn our drainage district meeting. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Very good.
All right. Back to our County Commissioners Court agenda. Mayor, you're here on item 6C, related to the hospital district. All right. The issue here is discussion regarding a possible decrease for the Hidalgo County tax rate contingent on passage of the Hidalgo County Hospital District. I know that this court adopted a resolution of support of the hospital district sometime earlier, and since then, when we've had an opportunity to address different groups, the issue of the county taxes has always come up. I know that the county this year is contributing approximately $6 million towards indigent health care. And if we were to drop the tax, that we no longer would be needing those $6 million, because that obligation would be taken over by the hospital district. That would mean a savings of about 2.5 cents on out of the 8 cents that are on that proposition that relates to the hospital district. And the issue then becomes what the position of this court is in the event that the hospital district were to pass. Would the court consider dropping the tax rate by these two, I believe it's about 2.5 cents, whatever the amount is equal to getting approximately $6 million.
I'm for it, Judge, no problem.
Judge, but the court already approved the tax rate. You can reduce
No, but
it.
for
That's
next
not what
year.
we're
For
talking
next
about
year.
for next year.
We're talking about
Oh, for next year?
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judge, I'm completely for it. I know that Proposition 1 is on the ballot right now. I think there's been a lot of mixed perception, but the right message to give the taxpayer is obviously
Yeah,
that
we
the
can-
court,
if
Commissioner's
it passes,
Court, would
then
be
we-
receptive to lowering the tax rate, so it's a lesser burden to the taxpayer.
You know,
Judge,
Commissioners?
I think if we're serious about doing it, we should take advantage and lower it, not 2.6 or 5.2, but whatever the savings to the county is going to be, whatever it translates to, whether it's 2%, 3%, 5%.
No, it's not percentage, it's cents.
Well, cents. You'd say 2.6 million.
It's about it's really about 2.5.
And the savings to the county, if the proposition passes, then the county would be saving, what, 6
If
million?
every penny generates 2.6 million,
2.5 pennies,
That-
0.75, por ahí.
right?
2.5, so it'll be
2.5 pennies.
7.5 million.
So that would be the number that would be clearly that we would not have an obligation to make up and pay for, so we ought to reduce that so the taxpayer can see that that's in effect what we're doing.
I think it's only fair to do that and
Yeah.
pass it on to the
If we
taxpayer.
talk about being fair, then I think you need to go beyond that amount. The commitment then should be the 2.6 or 5.2 plus the first year. The next year, to where we can get the tax rate down lower.
I don't understand. Give me a figure. I want to make sure you clarify it.
What is the dollar amount of savings to the county?
$6 million.
6 million.
So 2.5 pennies.
2.5 pennies, approximately.
So son 2.5 pennies total.
But seems to, I recall in previous conversations, I've asked the question, if this passes, then the county tends to save about $8 million.
6 million.
But 6 million, Commissioner.
That's what we paid this year, 6 million.
That's what we paid this year.
Sadio?
Judge, Commissioners, right now, the county's valuation, taxable valuation is roughly about $28.3 billion. In order to generate the $6 million that we levy for the 1115 waiver program, that equates to about 2.14 cents. So the 2.5 is a little bit overstated. It would be roughly about 2.41 cents, 2.14 cents that we would need to generate the $6 million.
So whatever that figure is, that would get us to 6 million based on today's valuations.
The county approved the budget and approved the tax rate to go along
Correct.
with that budget. And it's already for 2015.
That is correct.
So can they now approve another budget?
No.
The tax
We're
rate-
not talking 2015,
We're
sir.
talking
2016.
Okay, all right.
2016. This would be the tax rate that is set next year for the 2015 ad valorem taxes, which are for our fiscal year 2016.
Okay, I thought it was 15 because 15 was
No,
already
that's
done.
already set, and again, those can't be reduced.
All right, Commissioners, I know that all we're really being able to do is provide a consensus that, or a commitment of a future vote, because everything is contingent on whether or not the hospital district issue passes. If it doesn't pass, then everything will stay the same. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right.
Commissioner?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. All right. Then let's proceed to, let's proceed to open forum. I think we need to get that done. The first presenter under open forum is Josefa Gonzalez.
Muy buenos días, señor juez, los comisionados del Condado Hidalgo. Mi nombre es Josefa González, vengo esta mañana a agradecer el esfuerzo y dar las gracias al señor Palacio, que hizo bastante por vernos, a Tito Palacio, ¿verdad?, que nos hizo el favor de oírnos tanto tiempo porque necesitamos las luces en la colonia. Le agradecemos bastante. Aquí vengo de parte de la colonia López Vilqués, González y Zamora. Y estoy muy agradecida porque ya tenemos luces después de tantos años. Tengo 54 años ahí y hacía bastante falta las luces. Le agradecemos bastante al señor Tito Palacio.
Good morning. My name is Josefa Gonzalez, and I'm come from representing the Colonia Lopezville, which is Zamora Garza, inside the Lopezville area. And I wanted to, I'm here this morning just to give thanks to Commissioner Tito Palacios for installing the lights. I've been living in there for 54 years as a resident, and now we have public light, which was very necessary for our colony. I'm not just here with a very grateful heart to thank him for this effort.
Ahora tenemos otra preocupación porque como ya la colonia González y Zamora tenemos esas luces, pero hay otras colonias que están necesitadas de lo mismo, drenajes y todo, ¿verdad? Entonces para eso estamos aquí, para pedir su apoyo este día. Gracias.
So now I have another request is that I know that our colonia had public lights now installed, but I know there's a lot of other colonias that don't have the same thing. So we would like to ask the commissioners to continue to work through this and to be sure that all the colonias also have that privilege that now we enjoy it. Thank you.
Next presenter is Fern McClarity.
Yes, I need every second. Commissioners, we are now only a short time from a decision concerning the creation of a hospital district.
Hold on, let me advise you that under the law, I'm going to limit your comments because it seems like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Instead of 5 minutes, it'll take us into 40. We're going to make it 2 minutes. I'm allowed to reduce it to a total of 15 minutes per subject. So if you got 2 minutes to go ahead and give us your comments.
All right. The process has showed that our elected representatives can easily be turned from doing what is best interest of the people to what is the best for their financial interest. This election is not about creating a healthier Hidalgo County, nor is it about bringing a medical school to Hidalgo County. It's about a private hospital being able to take public money to increase corporate profits. The prize for the hospital is 75 cents, is $216 million a year, every year for the rest of our lives. This amount will increase at about 3% a year, so this is why the stakes are so high. I'm going to have to jump down. Why hospitals lose money is that all they do is raise the prices up or get y'all to pass a hospital district.
You got about 30 seconds.
The hospital district by law must focus on its resources or provide medical treatment to the neediest citizens in our community that make less than $205 per month. The third item talks about, yes, the taxpayers have an outcome. They can do a tax rollback provision. Sure we can. It takes 10% of the elected, registered voters, which are 320,000 at the present time, and it only took 50 registered voters to put something on the agenda to have it voted. So I think it's a little lopsided, you politicians, and the way that y'all do things, and I'm hoping and praying to God that everybody votes no on both propositions and shows you where we would like to keep our property.
Next presenter is Frank Perez.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
My name is Frank Perez. I'm a leader with Valley Interfaith. I'm a resident in McAllen. I'm in favor of Proposition 1 because Hispanics at this time are underrepresented in terms of medical dosages, specifically for Hispanics. Having a medical school here in Edinburgh would allow better research for medical purposes for Hispanics. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Crystal Armisen.
Good morning. I'm Cristela Rizon. I'm a leader with Valley Interfaith and resident of Mission. I, too, am in support of Proposition 1. Having a hospital district, as you know, would allow us to bring in matching federal funds for much-needed healthcare services in our community. So rather than have the $6 million which we currently use, we would have up to $33 million per year to use towards the healthcare of Hidalgo County. Thank you.
Next presenter is Jose Rios.
Good morning. My name is Jose Rios. I'm a member of Valley Interfaith and a resident of McAllen. And I'm in favor of Proposition 1. And the reason is that a lot of our residents in Hidalgo County, they're uninsured. Statistically, 38% of the residents in Hidalgo County, they don't have insurance. And this really hits home because a lot of my family members and a lot of my dear friends don't have medical insurance, and this will give them access to medical care. Thank you.
Next presenter is Mario Duran.
Buenos días, caballeros. Mi nombre es Mario Durán. Soy líder de Valley Interfaith de la ciudad de McAllen. Yo estoy a favor de la petición de la proposición número 1, porque esta va a traer más empleos a nuestra comunidad, a nuestra región, y principalmente va a traer médicos especialistas que hacen mucha falta en nuestra área y en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Mario was commenting that bringing Proposition 1 would bring more jobs to our community and bring in much-needed healthcare specialists to take care of medical needs here.
All right. Next presenter is Maria Champion.
I'm here to complain or to voice my opinion about the tactics they vote yes for Healthy County, because they are using money on a cheating, advertising, propaganda style. We are not going to get more doctors. We already have a lot of doctors. See, my husband just died, and all his body was compromised, every organ of his body, and we had plenty of doctors. And they did charge plenty of money, and that's where the indigents are going, to very expensive services of the ER hospitals. So what we need to do is just like going to get a product from a dollar store with a Macy's bill. So we need to get clinics who charge cheap for people who are not using. I am from Mexico. We don't have the culture of insurance. What we want is people to pay for our insurance. And these people of Mexico have to understand that their health insurance falls on their own. We cannot educate the people of other people who say, this lady says, I want my baby to be a doctor. Yes, she enjoys making the baby. Well, enjoy paying for her education. Don't invite the taxpayer to pay for education.
Next presenter is Virginia Townsend.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I read that on the agenda about the taxes going down in Hidalgo County, and I thought, what a great carrot on a stick that is. I mean, it sounds good. But I asked you a couple of weeks ago to bring the taxes down just because we have more coming in. We should bring them down anyhow. Hadn't got anything to do with the hospital district. But then I thought, gosh, somebody was thinking when they put it on the agenda, we're going to bring it down if you pass it. Oh my goodness sake, guys. If they had done it right, if they had not pushed it, if they had not gotten the cart before the horse, it would have passed with a 25-cent cap, and everybody could have been happy. But because it's got that 75-cent cap and nobody trusts, I will speak for myself, that it will bring it down to a 25-cent cap, then we are telling people to vote no. And I have not changed my mind. Vote no because we don't like a pig in a poke, because we're not going to close our eyes blindly and vote for something that is different than what it says. No. Anyhow, my goodness, lower the taxes. Wow, what a unique, good idea. Thanks.
Next presenter is Felix Rodriguez.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you for having us today. Greatest country in the world, our US of A. The Rio Grande Valley has a shortage of doctors, especially in subspecialty areas. The hospital district will support the medical school to train physicians here at home and increase the number of doctors in the region. The majority of doctors will stay in the valley to practice medicine and will provide essential health services, not just for us veterans, but for all our community. Veterans should not have to endure the hardship of having to travel hundreds of miles away to get specialty care in San Antonio, Houston, Corpus, Dallas, and other parts of the state. The hospital district will ensure that veterans and all of our community have access to health care in the valley. We all deserve the best care available. The hospital district will provide funds for research that will improve health care for everyone, including our veterans. Veterans' needs will continue to grow as more brave brothers and sisters return home. Additionally, the Valley has one of the fastest growing populations in the entire country. Hospitals play a critical role in the well-being of our communities and must continue to evolve in response to such changes. Now is the time to lay the framework to ensure that our healthcare infrastructure can keep pace with the changes in our community and that our veterans have access to the best quality and timely care today and in the future. An investment in the hospital district is an investment in healthcare and communities. Thank you to the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for standing with veterans. Thank you to our elected officials working hard to ensure that we get the healthcare we deserve and earn. As veterans, we have earned it. Veterans support the hospital district wholeheartedly. Vote for Proposition 1. Thank you.
Thank you. Next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. I was sued for divorce in Hidalgo County. Community property owned jointly by Joe Billman and me is almost 80 acres of debt-free land with capital improvements. Determination of the court was that our community property was excess land with no value, a classic decision of bureaucrats' politics for personal gain. For a divorce settlement, the court awarded a promissory note to me for someone else's debt. I borrowed no money. The divorce settlement awarded by the court to me is a promissory note, which is debt. The court has not disclosed to me to whom I am indebted. Decisions of the court took all of my community property and the income it is producing for free and left me confined in police-enforced false imprisonment with a Social Security check and a small annuity from Southwestern Bell to live on, indebted so debt could be assigned to by the courts to our debt-free community property. Texas is a community property state. Undivided debt-free land held in valid deeds by Joe Billman and me remains the estate of Joe Billman and the community property of Opal Billman under Texas community property law. We still own our community property jointly. Within the boundaries of law, the only authority the courts had was to divide our community property between the two owners and give it back to Joe Billman and me in a fair divorce settlement. That was the court's only job. That did not happen. Instead, a corporation was newly formed, state certified, and the court awarded our community property to this shell, in other words, empty corporation. The corporation is still empty. The court has no authority to take away and give away for free our community property on the foundation of a petition for divorce and call it a fair and just divorce settlement for us, the owners. Thank you very much.
Next presenter is Mayor Richard Garcia.
I'll try to be brief, Judge. I know it usually takes 15 minutes to get rolling here, but I don't want to take your time. I think I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm merely here. I'm here as a mayor, as a representative of the City Council to give our view and our opinion as a family member, as a father, a grandfather. I know that here in the Valley we've been used to doing less or doing more with less and having less, but we're at a crossroads right now. We have a grand opportunity. In the past, we've sacrificed to get where we are today. Looking right out here at this auditorium, in 1927, the people of this county saw fit to sacrifice so that we can have the higher education that we benefit from today. Today we have an opportunity to act. I know this has become a political issue here. This is not about politics. I like to think I'm a public servant, like I know that's what you think, as opposed to a politician. As a public servant, we're supposed to vote for the greater good as opposed to personal interest, and I know there's a lot of personal interest that's being voiced here, but today we know that an opportunity not taken is an opportunity lost. We have the opportunity today to prepare a grand future for our community, for our children. We talk about more doctors, about better health care. Yes, these are great opportunities for us, but regardless of whether our children will be going to medical school or staying here or not, we can look to San Antonio for an example of what has happened to a community. San Antonio, 25 years ago, their demographics and their population was the same.
Mayor, I hate to do this, but you got about 30 seconds.
All right. They have grown to be number 2 in the state, number 7 in the nation. That was the economic impact here will be in the billions like it is in San Antonio from medical investment. That's what I'm asking for people to look beyond. They're sacrificing the price of a movie ticket per month to have this opportunity for our grandchildren. I'm asking them to vote for the greater good, to vote for this hospital district. I want to thank the county for trying to help and give back a portion of that, which actually lowers it down to less than half of the price of a movie ticket per month. We have to be responsible. We have to set our personal interests aside for ourselves and look to the personal interest of our grandchildren in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we move on to item number 17, our elections administration.
Good morning. I have 3 small items I want to get approved really quickly. 17A is approval of full contract for election services between Hidalgo County and the La Joya ISD Independent School District for their election to be held on November 4th.
Move for approval.
Check. Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Approval of full contract for election services between Hidalgo County and the La Villa Independent School District for their election to be held on November 4th, 2014.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion carries.
The item C, I'm going to read the item and then I'm going to have a representative from the Democratic and the Republican Party come up and give their recommendations for 10 additional names to the list that has already been approved. It's appointment of the early voting ballot board for the November 4th, 2014 general and special state constitutional amendment elections, appointment of the Central Counting Station for the November 4th, 2014 general and special state constitutional amendment elections. And we can start, okay, with Ms. Kenna Giffen.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Kenna Giffen. I'm Secretary-Treasurer for the Hidalgo County Democratic Party. I'm also judge for the ballot board and Central County Station for this election. Thanks to y'all. I appreciate that appointment, I think. And because of we're well on the way to having nearly 4,000 ballots mailed in, we need some more help. I'm really glad to say I like to see that participation. For ballot board members, we are asking that the following be appointed as representatives of the Democratic Party: Sylvia Vick, Alma Garcia, Rosalie Weisfeld, Nathan Schwartz, Rosalinda Ramirez, Ricardo Cortinas, Kelly Salazar, Scott Crane, Joanna Overa, Eddie De La Rosa, and Lázaro Cárdenas. The Central County Station members, the representatives from the Democratic Party, whom you have graciously already appointed, are Mel Saunders, Yolanda Alvarado, Sandy Alvarado, and Compitzi Salinas. And we struck 2 people from the previous appointment for ballot board Democratic members. We were asked to remove Alma Vera because she is an employee of Hidalgo County. We do so only under protest and with very strenuous objection because she's also a darn good worker. And we also removed Elda Garcia because she is so involved in getting out the vote that she does not have time to do this. So we have added 2 other people to replace them, and they are in the list that I read to y'all. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate the job you do.
Are we ready to act?
Do you want to approve them all together, or you want to approve the Democratic Party first and then
No,
the
let's get them all.
Okay. Lucy Sneerly is the Secretary for the Republican Party.
Good morning.
Good morning. Chairman Sergio Sanchez was called into a last-minute meeting that he had to attend at the radio station, so I'm here on his behalf. The 8 ballot board members that you had already approved are all still there, ready to go. Most of them are sitting over right there, getting ready to go to work today. The 10 additional members that we would like to serve on the ballot board are Deborah Avellano, Donita O'Donnell, Sandra Carreras, Alethea Galke, Curtis Galke, Diane Trevino, Pablo Trevino, Melinda Brunson, Odelia Quintana, and Patricia Obst.
Now, I need a motion to approve all these names that have been provided to us.
Second.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Judge, thank you, Commissioner.
All right, I want to apologize. I left out 2 people that we had a second page. Mr. Josh Fike, under open forum.
How are y'all doing today?
Fine, sir.
I wanted to discuss with y'all about this Highway 68 project that the state has picked up. It was originally an RMA project that they saw no money in it and it was too expensive to build, so they just quit it. Well, here in September, we got a letter in the mail saying that our farm was going to be cut in half, our houses were going to be stolen by the state, and we just don't agree with this. We are always willing to work with county officials, state officials, when they approach us with a problem, and we've been done wrong before by the county officials because the county bought 35 acres from us telling us it was going to be a lake, and now they're building 10 foot up and putting a park on it and a Boys and Girls Club. How is that right? You take somebody's land saying that y'all are going to build a lake to alleviate the problems of water, because during Hurricane Dolly there was 10 foot of water in these people's houses, and now there's 10 foot of dirt beside their houses. Where are all these people going to go? So as you can see, we're kind of leery about working with the state on this project, and the obvious way to do this would be 493. They do not need to rip out businesses and homes and all sorts of other private entities just so that they can have a road that basically, as TxDOT told us, it is just for trucks on the other side of Mexico to get through town without going through town. Now, to kick taxpayers off of their land because they want to put a road for Mexico trucks, that is just wrong. 493 would be the obvious way to go because TxDOT told us themselves a straight road is a safe road. Well, this road, Highway 68 or Toll Road 68 that they want to put through here, it jogs this way, it makes S-curves, it makes all kinds of things. So my point is just we need to talk some sense into TxDOT and tell them this is not the proper place to put a road. You're displacing 650 landowners, 250 to 300 homeowners, just because they want this road that is going to be built 200 feet from an existing road. It is 2 miles from 493, running parallel to 493. And it is running parallel to 490 to get to 281. Now, how is that not a waste of taxpayer money when you have an existing road that is perfectly straight and you're going to go right next to it and then go right next to it on 490? It is just a horrible, horrible waste of taxpayer money. Thank you.
Marisela de Leon.
Yes. Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I stand before you, Marisela de Leon, as legislative consultant to the following families and business owners of San Carlos: the Fike Farms family, the Perez Farms family, Mrs. Norma Saldana, Mr. Lupe de los Santos, Mr. Rivera from the Machinery Supply Company, and Donna. On behalf of these families, impacted property owners, business owners, and citizens of Hidalgo County, I would like to express to you their concerns on the proposed State Highway 68 that TxDOT is proposing as their highway expansion project. I believe that this is a perfect medium to address their concerns on this project. This is a proposed project, as Josh Fike has mentioned, that will begin on 83 or I-2, going north to FM 1925 and ultimately to 2812, which will create an interchange near the Edinburgh Airport. The families within the San Carlos community have extreme concerns on this toll road to run through their home. If you are not fully aware, I hope this brief testimony will bring the issue to your desk and that the county take a position on the project to impact the community of San Carlos. In brief, San Carlos is just east of Edinburgh, Texas, a small community where within this community lies an elementary school where some students will get displaced and no guarantee of the project route, if approved, if these families will stay within the Edinburgh School District. This is a proposed project from the RMA in 2009 that failed due to financial feasibility issues. TxDOT in February of 2013 approved a minute order. Now they are in the public testimony of this project. That is to end next year upon the environmental study review. The families asked this commission to take a proactive approach throughout their public comment, part of this route study being conducted by FAR District TxDOT. The families understand the need to adapt to change. However, they have not been adequately informed on the proposed project. In an effort to ensure their voice does not get lost along this process, the families strongly encourage this board to get informed on the ramifications this proposed Highway 68 will have within their community. To be clear, many will lose homes, most will lose their livelihoods with the loss of their business. As a San Carlos resident, I was born in Edinburgh, raised in San Carlos, so this community is far more important to me as it is to them. I do not believe this is an issue that should go unaddressed. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving us a couple of minutes and bringing this issue to your chamber. And I really look forward to having meetings with each and every one of you on the position that you have on this project. This is a perfect opportunity for alternatives and recommendations to be addressed, since there is no confirmed route that TxDOT is going to take. The TxDOT district engineer in Austin has been invited to come down to South Texas on that day. We will go ahead and extend an invitation for you to attend. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next item is Balti.
7A.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item 7A, 1 and 2, there's no action unless action to be taken further down the agenda. Item 7B is going to be delayed to the next court meeting. We'll have a full presentation. Item 7C, Commissioners, this is a yearly occurrence. We have a request by American Legion Post 408 to use our Courthouse Square parking lot for the Veterans Day Parade to be held Saturday, November 1st, from 8 to 11 a.m. I'm asking the court's consideration and approval on the request.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Commissioners, I'm going to just briefly skip item D. I'll come back to it in 2 seconds or in a couple minutes. Item E, we have another request, Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce to use our county square. It'll be for the Night of Lights Parade on Friday, December 5th. That'll be in the evening, and the 47th Annual Fiesta Edinburgh Celebration on Saturday, February 28th of 2015 at 10 a.m. Again, I'm asking for court's consideration and approval of this item.
Move for approval. Second.
You have all the necessary...
Yes, from the
documents there?
Chambers of Commerce, yes. We get everything squared away ahead of time.
First motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item F, I'm asking the court to accept the settlement check from United Services Automobile Association in the amount of $437.20, and this will settle an auto accident with one of our county vehicles.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item G, there is no action. Judge Commissioners, if I can go back to item D, discussion, consideration, and action on rescheduling the meeting of November 11th, 2014 due to Veterans Day holiday. Commissioners, we run into this almost yearly with respect to the date of Commissioners Court. I'm asking the court to consider holding Commissioners Court on the 11th, which is a Wednesday, as opposed to Tuesday.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
That'll be the 13th?
I'm sorry,
No, Tuesday.
The 12th, I'm sorry, the 12th, I apologize. 11th is Tuesday, the 12th is Wednesday. Sorry.
That'll be the 12th.
Yes, Wednesday.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
There's no meeting coming up next week, no?
No, sir, there is no meeting coming up next week, but as always, Commissioners, any important issue that needs to be addressed by the Commissioners Court, or for that matter, the Board of Directors, 72-hour notice posting, we can call a meeting. Commissioner, we have item 8 under the Constable's Office. We have Precinct 1 Constable's Office.
The 12th, Wednesday.
Good morning, Commissioners. Raul Lozano for Constables Precinct 1. Item number 1, approval to authorize the Hidalgo County Constables Precinct 1 office to continue participation in the Texas 1033 Surplus Property Program.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2, authorization for the county judge as authorized official to sign the required documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Constable Precinct 4.
Commissioner, if I may, on behalf of Constable Precinct 4, they're asking for the certification of revenues. They have been certified by our county auditor for auction proceeds that were generated from a sale of confiscated vehicles. I have a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Second action item would be the appropriation of said funds, and that the dollar amount is $12,700.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Human Services.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. Item 9A, it's under the Border Colonia Access Program. Approval to delete the following vacant full-time positions. To delete under Department Code 125-028, slot number 2, Administrative Assistant 4, at $39,952. To delete under Department Code 125-028, slot number 3, Colonia Access Program Coordinator at 41,897, and to delete under Department Code 125-028, slot number 4, Colonia Access Program Coordinator at 35,391, and approval of the revised salary schedule.
Move for approval. Second. 1 and 2.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now, under this item for the Sheriff's Department, do you need for me to read them all
No.
individually?
No, actually, Commissioners, Esther, if I may, it's a deleting the clothing allowance from slot 2449, 171, 197, and 334, and they're adding clothing allowance to 11, slots 11, 15, 46, 81, and 400 respectively. The dollar amount that they're talking about is $500 deletion, $500 addition.
Move for approval, 1 and 2.
And as well as revised salary schedule?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
If I may, Esther, I'm sorry, if I may, this is directed at Mr. Ufraso. Mr. Ufraso, with respect to the clothing allowance, it is a supplement, it is a stipend, okay? It's either given, it's to slot X or slot Y, and if at some point slot X or Y doesn't get that clothing allowance, that's either reassigned or not given at all. So the question is, can this be something that we handle administratively via a change of status as opposed to coming to court? I understand that at the end of the day, the argument is always that we approve a change of we approve a salary schedule. But could we work on an administrative procedure where we could, because it's a delete, it's a washout. You're deleting it from one slot, giving it to another slot. It washes out. It's purely administrative on part of the office holder. And so I'm asking if we could get together, work something out administratively, come back to court with some type of understanding that if we do the, say, add deletes, that we could come back quarterly, just do a, every quarter, if we did add deletes, come back to court.
We had the discussion before, and the way that I see it is court approved a slot with the salary and allowances.
Right.
And I don't want to usurp the authority of the Commissioner's Court to decide to give it to somebody else.
Okay, well, but...
That's what we asked, that you
Right.
come before court and allow them to authorize you to pay it to someone else.
All right, then with the court's permission, I'm going to work with legal counsel with respect to that very issue so that we don't circumvent the authority of Commissioner's Court. But my contention is that at the point that the budget is adopted, it is now at the discretion of the elected official. I understand procedurally how we've done this, but let me work with legal. If we can come back to court and say, you know what, we can facilitate this through a change of status, because at the end of the day, if the change of status in some form or fashion, if it's not proper, it's either going to get stopped at HR, budget, or at your office, or for that matter, it would get stopped at Treasurer's office. So I believe that there's plenty of checks and balances. I'm just trying to make this a little simpler with respect to the allocation of this stipend. Thank you. I'm sorry, Esther. Mr. Cáceres, item 10. Thank you.
Morning. Item 10A is approval of the following expenses in accordance with the exiting officials expenditure policy. The amount of $3,150 paid to TDCAA for registration fees for the some key personnel and victim assistance coordinator seminar. The amount of $508.60 for mileage reimbursement to support staff, and $1,980.08 reimbursement for Mr. Guerra's use of his credit card for the hotel expenses, and $1,053 for meal reimbursement for 9 support staff that will attend the seminar.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item B is approval of the following expenses in accordance with exiting official expenditure policy. It's to purchase a Drobo system. It's a computer file server backup system in the amount of $10,493.04 from CDW Government, Inc.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. County Clerk's Office.
Good morning, Commissioners. Annette Muñiz, Chief Deputy for Hidalgo County Clerk, Arturo Guajardo Jr. I'm here on item 11, requesting approval of the official bond for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 3, Place 2, Marcos Luis Ochoa, which has been filed at the County Clerk's office on October the 15th.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
This is a one-year bond, right, Ms. Mies?
I also have another item, and I was hoping that we could get it out of order. It's under the Purchasing Department, 22L.
Okay.
This is acceptance and approval of the final negotiated contract with CoFile Systems Incorporated, the #1 ranked firm on September the 30th for RFP number 286 for records management and document imaging process.
The 20C one?
22.
Pardon me? 22L. 22L. L is in Leo. I gave you the backup from the September 30th action taken by the court only because we did receive some emails from a vendor of the 3 that submitted who made statements that they were not in agreement with the ranking, how it occurred, and the scoring. In the event they were here, I wanted you to be prepared, but I don't know if anyone's here to.
So who are you recommending? What do you recommend?
Well, we've gone through the process. The court accepted the scores from the graders. We ranked them, and we commenced negotiations with the #1, and we have effected a negotiated agreement.
Ms.
So,
Salazar, before the court takes action, can we have Commissioner Palacios announce that anybody is here to object to this award, since they did notify us by email that they would be here, to ask them now is the time to come up?
who was it from?
Do we have
Vendor?
anybody here?
Xerox. Anyone here from Xerox? That's who it was from.
Do we have it?
Anyone here from Xerox in connection with the county clerk award of the negotiated contract with the #1 ranked firm? CoFile.
Marty, so back in September, CoFile was the #1 ranked?
Yes, you have the backup there. Yes, sir.
And it gets
And
court
it's not
approved?
until yesterday that we received, I believe it's yesterday, that we received an email of some dissatisfaction with those numbers from one of the other.
But back then, court gave you authority to negotiate a contract
Yes,
with
sir.
#1 ranked
To
firm?
commence with the #1, and we have effected one that the county clerk is recommending and concurs with, as well as we, to Commissioners Court to award.
Oh, it is your
To accept and
recommendation.
approve, yes, sir.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I will return when it's my turn.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Ms. Jordan.
Hello, Commissioners. Richard is in the Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County. On behalf of our Sheriff Eddie Guerra, under 12A, under the Sheriff's OSADEF, disapproval to correct the federal agency investigation number and the OSADEF strategic initiative number previously approved by the Commissioners Court on September 30th of 14, under the item 46612, which is as follows. Federal agency investigation number is M5140001. Under the OSADEF strategic initiative number, the investigation number is SWTXS0968.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Under item B, requesting the approval for Commissioners Court upon the approval through our legal for approval memorandum of understanding between the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office and Precinct 2 Constable's Office for the transfer of 2 vehicles under the equitable sharing as allowed through the Guide to Equitable Sharing for the state and local law enforcement agencies.
I think the auditor had a question.
The guidelines do not allow the sheriff's office to transfer vehicles to the constable precinct 2 because they don't have a, as far as we know, they don't have an agreement with the same federal sharing.
That's why I requested the approval through Commissioners Court first until our legal reviewed so we can make those proper arrangements.
Well, can you bring it back?
Can we approve it through Mr. Legal.
Commissioner, we need to confirm that the vehicles in question were actually purchased with Treasury Department forfeiture funds. Once we do that, it's a matter of just replacing, denoting the appropriate equitable sharing agreement and then confirming that the constable's office has the appropriate agreement as well. The constable would like to get these vehicles as soon as possible. I think the Sheriff's Department would ask that you approve, subject to legal approval, changing out a couple of lines and confirming some information.
But I don't think at this point they can approve an MOU that is contrary to the guidelines.
Well, they would approve it subject to legal approval. We have not approved the document yet. I've just informed the commission about what changes we would make.
Subject
to, can
I'd
you recommend that?
I'd rather wait, but it's up to you, Commissioner. I don't think the guidelines allow you to do that, but.
We can do it subject to legal?
Commissioners, this is one of the reasons, as we had earlier, I don't know all the facts, and you're asking me a legal opinion without knowing all the facts, and I would need to know the facts before I can give you an opinion.
But Victor, you all been handling this?
Yes.
You're giving the guidance?
I don't think he knows the
That's
facts
right.
either.
And the memorandum of understanding right now contemplates Department of Justice guidelines. We need to confirm that, in fact, it was Department of Treasury guidelines, and so there would be a change in one line of the memorandum of understanding, and then also confirm the constable has the right documentation as well.
And the only question I ask is, what happens if you find out that it was not, the vehicles originally were not purchased with Treasury funds?
Well, then it's likely that it was Department of Justice funds, and there wouldn't be a change in the document.
So you think either way they can do it?
No, I think that they'd be able to do it either in both instances.
Okay, so then I think based on that information, I think subject to legal review is fine.
Yeah, move for approval.
Second.
Subject to?
Subject to legal.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
Is it 1 and 2, Commissioner?
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
And number 2 would be the approval of the authorization for the county judge as authorized official
We got
to
that.
sign the required document. Item C is approval.
All right.
Approval and authorization for the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office to continue participation in the Texas 1033 Surplus Property Program.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is authorization for the county judge as authorized official to sign the required documents.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services.
Hold on, Eddie.
I'm sorry?
Before I got here, did we have a quorum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Item 14 then?
Item 14A1, sir, no action unless there's any questions. Item 14B, no action unless there's any questions or concerns. Item 14C, requesting approval to accept the Ida Rey Binational Health Council Award in the amount of $2,450. Item 2 is requesting approval of the certification of revenue, and item 3 is requesting approval of the budget appropriations in the amount of $2,450. It's a small grant we got.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item D, sir, is it's under Health and Human Services, approval for the county auditor to pay Safeguard Universal Limited invoice 24921 in the amount of $999.45, PO number 712476.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 15, IT Department.
Judge, Commissioners. Actually, with respect to Mr. Ramirez's item, it's a request to have the county judge sign a request assignment.
Valdez, let me, I promised Teresa that I
Okay.
would take care of her. She's been
Yes, sir.
very patient. Item 18, Head Start.
18A is a discussion and approval on request to purchase custodial supplies and equipment, contract number 397-12, to the Hidalgo County's membership's participation with the Texas School Board by boards awarded vendors for the term of the TASB contract ending August 31st, 2015. Letter A, Gulf Coast Paper Company. Letter B, Matera Paper Company Limited. Letter C, Staples Contract and Commercial Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Letter B, presentation for discussion, consideration, and approval to enter into a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between Hidalgo County Head Start and the Behavioral Health Solutions of South Texas. There is no money involved in this. It has to do with services and assistance to each other.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Letter C, discussion approval on request to purchase classroom supplies and equipment, contract number 407-12, through the Hidalgo County's membership participation with Texas Association of School Boards by boards awarded vendors for the term of the TASB contract ending October 31st, 2015. And we have the following vendors: Hatch, letter B, Kaplan Early Learning Company, letter C, Lake Shore Learning, letter D, National Education Systems Incorporated, letter E, Oriental Trading Company, letter F, Positive Promotions Incorporated, and letter G, School Specialty Incorporated. These are all vendors of supplies and materials.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Letter D, discussion approval on request to purchase one cargo van through Hidalgo County's membership participation with the Texas Association of School Boards by board awarded vendor Caldwell Chevrolet, including TASB administrative fees.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Letter E, discussion approval to request to purchase one school bus through the Hidalgo County's membership participation with the Texas Association of School Boards by boards awarded vendors Longhorn Bus Sales, including TASB administrative fees.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Letter E is classroom space. Discussion and approval to advertise, including approval of specifications as attached herein, to sealed bids on lease of classroom land space for the following areas: Donna, Edinburgh, McAllen, Mercedes, and Mercedes. And in the middle of the chart, it shows you we're looking at classroom space in Mission. We're also looking at classroom space in Mission, in another classroom space in, land space in Mission, classroom space in FAR, and classroom space in Weslaco. And those different areas are specified herein.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Letter G, discussion approval and appointment of one community representative by each member of Commissioners Court to serve on the Hidalgo County Head Start Program Policy Council for a one-year term according to 45 CFR Chapter 13.50B1-B7, beginning October 2014 and pending appointments of the community representatives are for Judge Ramon Garcia and for Commissioner Joseph Palacios. And I don't know if you're ready to make an appointment yet.
Teresa, I'm waiting for the result of the November 4th election,
Okay?
and I'll let you know the week after, or the meeting after.
On the 12th.
Okay. What happens is that the present members will continue serving until a replacement has been named.
Well, they'll be holdover, so you got
Yes,
no
they'll be held
problem.
over. Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much. That's it.
Our planning department?
Thank you.
I just want to ask Mr. Palacios if he was ready to name anybody. He just
I'll bring
walked
it back
in.
next week. I'm
Next
sorry.
week. Okay,
That
that's
is,
okay.
I'll
Thank
get with
you.
you.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. TJ Arredondo for the record. First item is a replat of Lot 12, Santa Cruz Ranch Number 1. It's a Precinct 4. It's a two-lot, single-family lot subdivision. It was with a variance request for the lot width that was approved by the advisory board. We're recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Next item is Sandmeyer subdivision in Precinct 1. It's a one single-family lot subdivision approved by the advisory board, and we are also recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Next subdivision is a re-subdivision of lots 1, 52, 53, 54, 59, and Lot B of Caledonia Estates Phase 1 in Precinct 4. It's an 8-lot subdivision. We are recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Next subdivision is Cohiba. It's in Precinct 3. It's an 18-lot single-family subdivision. We are recommending approval as well.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And the last subdivision is Sunflower Park, Precinct 4. It's a county-owned subdivision plat. It's a one-lot subdivision for Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Item 20A1 is the approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the Fayetteville Drain Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is the approval of 2014 appropriation of funds for the Fayetteville Drain Project in the amount of $150,006.81 for pay period 3 through pay period 12.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 21.
Judge?
You want to go back to the
Right. I was going to ask if
14C?
is it 14C?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't here about that. What's
14C? We have to go back to
15A.
15A.
15A?
15A, yeah. Judge, Commissioners, I've been working with Mr. Ramirez on this issue. We're asking the court to give, for the county judge to sign a form to request an assignment, which would be texas.gov domain for Hidalgo County. This will increase our existing county internet presence to the community.
Yeah, I guess we did, yeah.
Need a motion?
Move for approval.
And a second. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B for the probate court is to activate wireless service. It would be through, and it's for office use, it is one data card.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
For the county sanitation departments, we're asking also data card activations. Be for departments, Commissioner Precinct 1, 2, 3, and 4. They are all new activation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
All right, let's,
We have item 16 for Urban County, Judge.
Liana?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Commissioner Tito Palacios didn't cover it, huh?
No, he didn't. We have a couple of items on the agenda. The very first one is on behalf of the City of Progreso, requesting the approval to award a best and final negotiated contract with Robert Kistner Consulting in the amount of $7,138.45 for a street improvement project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is on behalf of the City of Elsa, requesting the approval and award a best and final negotiated contract with International Consulting Engineers in the amount of $16,919 for a park recreational facility project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is on behalf of the Urban County Program, requesting the award of bids and approval of contracts with Quality Investments for the demolition and reconstruction of the following. This is one unit in the City of San Juan and one unit in the City of Mercedes. Total amount for these two homes would be $108,736.99.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's move back to 21A.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 21A, 1 and 2, discussion, consideration, and approval to establish a change fund in accordance with Texas Local Government Code 130.902 at each of the 4 precinct administrative offices in the amount of $100
each, and this is for the county sanitation permits. The auditor does have concerns on that issue. We are already addressing those 4 concerns that he sent out. He sent out letters to each of the commissioners, I believe yesterday. We hope to have those finalized, resolved within the next 10 days. We will concur with the auditor, and we will take no action on this at this time. We will bring this back on November 12th for approval. But again, the sanitation permitting process is well underway. We've gotten all the equipment tested out. It's working. It's just a matter of ordering the receipt books, ordering the deposit books, and going through the cash handling procedures, doing some training with the auditor's office. I believe each of the precincts have already designated the staff members that will be assigned to this function, so we will be bringing those back. Item 2, which we'll also bring back just so we can have them approved at the same day, is going to be authorization for the county to start issuing out the permits effective December 1st. Again, the fee is effective January 1st, so we would like to start selling these permits in advance. That way we don't have a line at the administrative offices come January 1st. So once we get all these cash handling procedures and the other requirements that the auditor has completed, we'll bring this back for court for approval. Item 21B, 1, 2, and 3, is approval to accept the fiscal year 2015 JAIBG Early Intervention Counseling Program grant in the amount of $17,516, and this for the period of 9/1/2014 to 8/31/2015.
Move for approval.
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
21B, 2 and 3 is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds for the fiscal year 2015 Early Intervention Counseling Program grant in the amount of $17,516, which are the grant award and the local match in the amount of $1,946.55.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21C is discussion, consideration, and approval of the vine maintenance plan. This vine maintenance plan is in regards to the victim notification grant that we have with the Attorney General's office. Basically, it requires the Commissioner's Court to approve a maintenance plan. We're just requesting approval of that plan. Basically, it designates the IT department as basically the point of contact to report anything to the state when any of the servers or any of that electrical equipment is down.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 21D is discussion, consideration, and approval of revisions to the non-travel meals, refreshments, and related expenses policy, guidelines, and procedures. Judge, Commissioners, right now we have a policy regarding payment of meals that calls for a 2-hour limit, that the meetings must be in excess, must be 2 hours or more. That has presented problems in regards to our Civil Service Commission meetings. As you all recall, we've had several items requesting exemption and authority to pay for those meals because the meetings sometimes last only an hour and 45 minutes. They're not able to gauge it. So basically, this revision would basically exempt the Civil Service Commission meetings from that 2-hour requirement.
What meetings are exempt?
The Civil Service Commission meetings. The Civil Service Commission meets in the evenings.
And the idea is that we've got citizens volunteering their time?
That is correct.
Well, what about other meetings like, you know, the advisory committees where we have citizens volunteering their time, and would that policy apply to them?
The way we revised it, it only applies to the Civil Service Commission meetings.
Well, why don't you look at it and broaden it enough that it'll apply to
other policies,
different
other
situations?
commissions?
Yeah, but it'll make it very hard, you know, just for one, you know, like that you can take care of everybody at the same time.
Okay.
We have to come back and
Bring it back.
get everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you bring it back?
We can bring it back.
Yeah, make it broad enough that we can accommodate the citizens in our community that volunteer their time and their talents to helping us.
Yes.
Ms. Cortez, do you have a commission meeting before the 12th of this?
It's November 13th.
Okay. Then yes, we'll bring this back then on the 12th. We'll expand it. We'll have it approved by the 12th. That way we can still accommodate the Civil Service Commission. And then we'll take no action on 21D. 21E is discussion, consideration, and approval of resolution authorizing the submittal of the 2015 Indigent Defense Formula Grant with the Texas Indigent Defense Commission and authorization for the county judge to sign the required documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 21F1, A and B, is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds for Constable Precinct 1 in the amount of $11,238.75.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 21F2, A and B, is approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor and appropriation of those funds for Constable Precinct Number 4 in the amount of $1,670.67.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Item 22, purchasing.
Yes, sir. Martha Salazar, Purchasing Department, A1. This is presentation for discussion and approval to request authority to advertise an RFP, request for proposals for professional and energy consulting services with approval of the procurement packet as attached, including the authority to re-advertise in the event we receive no participation.
When is our contract up?
We don't have one. We don't have a consulting energy.
Well, no,
Oh,
the contract,
November of
yeah,
next-
the electrical
Oh, November
contract.
of next year.
A year away?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is all in preparation for being able to get a consultant in and then do your process prior to the expiration of that current agreement.
Okay.
Pardon me? Well, it expires with GLO. We always have the option to continue, but what the court wants to do, at least that's what I've been advised, is they want to hire an energy consultant this time to explore, even if it is from co-ops, they would have the expertise to compare everything that's being offered or put out our own, one or the other.
Because we're paying about twice as much as we should be.
Well, the way the market went, yes.
Yeah.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 2, this is presentation for award by Commissioners Court of the sole responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid as detailed in the tabulation sheet contained herein, meeting all the specifications. This is for laboratory services for Hidalgo County as a whole. We had 21 packets requested, 1 response only. It is being recommended West Laboratory.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3 is also for laboratory, item 3 is presentation of award to Commissioners Court for the responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid contained herein for Hidalgo County's concrete mix and delivery services, and human services is an error, so it's for Hidalgo County only. 19 packets were requested, 2 responses were received. We are recommending first, just a moment, I think I have my deals confused here. As well.
Health Department, the concrete?
It's the Health Department contract, which is which this is for
So they buy concrete mix?
yes, Center for Disease, but I'm confusing myself because someone took my agenda, which I had all my notes on, so I had to reconstruct it. So I apologize, and my iPad isn't working. And this is for the bid for Hidalgo County's. This, number 3 is for their laboratory services too, or is it the concrete mix? Because I have that ready.
This is concrete mix.
This is concrete mix. Then we have, if somebody would help me out with their iPad. No, it's concrete mix for Hidalgo County. May I go on to item 4? till we get back to item
Stands
3.
right behind you with an iPad.
It's listed incorrectly in the agenda. I think this is the bid description, concrete mix and delivery services.
No, it is concrete mix and delivery services, but
But it says bid titled Hidalgo County Health.
it's just Hidalgo County. That's what I made the correction on. It's only Hidalgo County. See,
This one was right, it was for health, and this is only county. See, this one says Hidalgo County, so they're reversed, the departments.
But see, but then I have 2 vendors. Commissioners, if you will bear with me, I will get that straightened out for you. Let me go on to item 4. This is for Hidalgo County Commissioners Court take action of awarding primary and secondary contracts for responsible vendors submitting the lowest, and this is service, repair, and maintenance of county generators. We had 16 packets requested, 3 bids received. We are recommending primary bid award go to Waukesha Pierce Industries Incorporated, and the secondary bid award go to Holt Texas Limited. I ask for action on that.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
So how's it going to work, Marty? You're go with the primary always?
It's, I believe, on a time, if they cannot address it, they go to the secondary. Yes, sir. There is a mechanism within the bid for that event. Item B1, this is Executive Officer pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262-031, and in the interest of expediting projects progress, requesting authority and approval for Valdeguerra Hidalgo County Executive Officer to execute change orders that involve increases or decreases with a cost of less than $50,000. This is to expedite your current project for the renovations of the first and second floor of the administration building. I highly recommend that the court consider and take action on this.
So it's $50,000 or less?
Or less.
Right.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, going on to the next item, and we will return to that item I asked your indulgence on at the end. C1 for Precinct 1, recommendation by Project Engineer Raul Cecin, Professional Engineer, Hidalgo County Planning Department, to award to the lowest base bid alternates 1 and 2 to vendor for road paving and drainage improvements for Sioux Road drainage and paving improvements from Tower to Valverde Road. This was bid number 362 to 2GS LLC in the amount of $740,819. We had approximately 20 packets picked up, and we received 7 bids.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item B would also be pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 262-031, and the interest of expediting the project's progress, we ask that you also approve Precinct 2's designee, historically Mr. Raul, it's Silguero,
Precinct 1? Okay.
unless otherwise changed by the commissioner, and this is for also change orders for less than $50,000.
Move for approval.
Or for 50,000 or less?
Or
Need a
less,
second?
50 or less, yes, sir.
50 or less.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And I am correcting myself, this is for Precinct 1, it is Raul Lozano.
Lozano,
Yes, sir.
But it's also the approval is in no event to exceed the change order statutory limitations, right?
Oh, no, that is a given. This is for anything up to the statutory limit of 25%, yes, sir. This would be item 2, requesting authority to advertise for municipal solid waste received from Precinct 1 citizen collection station sites to a land for a transfer station within a 15-mile radius of Sunset Park, including approval of the procurement packet, which is attached.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 3 is acceptance and approval of invoices as itemized and detailed with supporting documentation grid through Hidalgo County awarded contractor, which is Argendegui, for POs processed and issued, but for requisitions or POs not submitted or processed in the amount of $129,773.66 for 3 different divisions, that is Road and Bridge, Parks, and Sanitation, with the authority, of course, of the county treasurer to issue payment after the processing procedures by the auditor are completed.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Number 4, I'm taking A and B first. It's the rescission of agenda item 46270 on October 14th. That is with Eustacio Rubio, DBA Delta Aggregate and Landscaping Materials.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is merely correcting the reason for the rescission in item A, and that is to change the words in the contract from buyer to seller that were incorrectly on the contract document with Eustacio Rubio, DBA Delta Aggregate and Landscaping for the purposes of aggregate limestone grade 4, option 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C and D are similar. Rescission of the action taken on 10/14/14 on agenda item 46270 with Frontera Materials Incorporated for a correction.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item D is requesting approval of requirements agreement with Frontera Materials. That is also corrected by exchanging the word buyer to seller. And this is for aggregate limestone grade 4, option 2 for Hidalgo County Precinct 1.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D1A for Colonia Access Program, Precinct 1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under 262-024A4, a professional engineering service.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid of 3 engineering firms from the pool. That was Lefevre at 78, Hinojosa Engineering at 76, and Perez Consulting Engineers at 75. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
C is authority for purchasing to negotiate a professional engineering services contract commencing with the number 1 ranked firm of Lefevre.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Lefevre
Lefevre.
Engineering. Item D, this is requesting also exemption 262-024A4, a professional service under Texas Local Government Code.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
The 3 firms graded and evaluated and scored were MEG at 80, Terracon at 76, and PSI at 75. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item F is authority for the purchasing department to negotiate a professional construction materials testing contract commencing with the number 1 ranked firm of MEG.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion. Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item G, exemption from Texas Local Government Code 262-024A, professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
H, presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking. The 3 firms were Lefevre, 78, Hinojosa, 76, and Perez, 75. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
This is authority for purchasing to negotiate a professional engineering services agreement commencing with the number 1 ranked firm of Lefevre, and this is for the Colonia Lorenzana.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Just for the record, let me go back to the item, the previous item, which was the B1, no, not B1, it would have been, pardon me, D1. That is for D1, A, B, and C were all for Hildeberg subdivision. D, E, were for Hildeberg Materials Testing. And then the one I just identified, G, was first for Lorenzana, and then the last one was for Lorenzana. Going on to item J.
Marty, number F, what was the farm for F?
Pardon me?
MEG.
The
MEG.
MEG, thank you.
Yes, sir. Going to item J, requesting exemption under 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The three firms, and this is for construction materials testing, MEG 80, Terracon 76, and PSI 75. And this is for Lorenzana. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of those scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Then we will commence, if you will give us authority for purchasing, to commence negotiations with the #1 ranked firm of MEG for Lorenzana.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item E, Colonia Access Program, Precinct 2. E1, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The presentation of the three firms graded and evaluated are Gutierrez Engineering at 97, LNV at 96, and Perez at 94. Does the court wish to rank them in their order of their scores?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the #1 ranked firm of Gutierrez Engineering.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And this is for the Las Fuentes subdivision project under Border Colonia Access Program. Item D is requesting exemption under 262-024A4, a professional construction materials testing service.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The three firms that were scored were Earth Company, 88, PSI at 90, and MEG at 94. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
This is also for Las Fuentes subdivision. Item F would be authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the #1 ranked firm of MEG.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
F1 is requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 2 with an estimated cost of $5,945.25 as submitted by Millennium Engineering Group for contract number 300, and this is for construction materials engineering services for Moore Road, I Road East, approximately 1,260 lineal feet improvement project.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 3 with an estimated cost of $14,492.25 as submitted by Millennium Engineering Group, contract number 300 for construction materials testing. This is for Sioux Road, I Road West, approximately 7,880 lineal feet improvement project.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is requesting acceptance of the work authorization with approval of same with an estimated cost of $14,492.25 as submitted by Millennium, contract number 300, construction materials testing for Eldora Road, I Road West, approximately 7,580 lineal feet.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Acceptance and approval for item 4 of construction contract documents for Hidalgo County Precinct 2's equipment and maintenance facility, on-site civil improvements concrete work project awarded on October 14th to RDH Site and Contract and Concrete LLC in the amount of $75,549.90, subject to legal counsel's review.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Requesting acceptance and approval of item 5, work authorization 1, approximate cost $5,945.25 is submitted by Millennium, and this is for under contract number 300, construction materials testing. This is for Cesar Chavez, FM 495 North, approximately 1,280 lineal feet improvement project.
Over.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6, approval of the following requisitions listed for operating expenditures exceeding $25,000. This would be a requisition number 265608 from Frontera Materials, $30,624.
Move for approval.
Second.
And the second one is 200.
Those in favor?
There's two of them, Judge. Requisition number 265883, the Playwell Group, $90,970.48.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 7 is requesting acceptance and approval of work authorization 5. Estimated cost $13,094.50. Millennium Engineers for under contract 300. Construction materials testing services for Nolana Loop, Raul Longoria to Cesar Chavez Improvements Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item G1, this is for Precinct 3 as required by statutory process and further detailed and required by TxDOT, selection and designation of evaluation committee to grade, score, and evaluate the statements of qualifications received in response to RFQ construction, management, inspection, and materials testing services for Mile 2 North roadway project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Well,
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
are you giving then, within this, that Precinct 3 would name the committee members? Because he's not here. So it'd be subject to his naming of the committee members?
Yes.
Let's take a vote on
You need action.
Yeah.
So
No, they're going to take a vote. I'm just saying,
that. I want to take a vote on him naming the committee member.
right. So it'd be upon Commissioner
Hold.
Flores's
Yeah.
designation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item H1, Precinct 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Item 2, acceptance and approval to execute an on-call professional engineering services contract with LNG Consulting Engineers for geotechnical and construction materials testing for all projects for Precinct 3 as approved for negotiations on September 9th, 14.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
H1, Precinct 4, acceptance and approval to award proposal received in the amount of $18,048.59 from Herrera and Hunt Incorporated, awarded job order contractor through the county's participation in the Choice Facility Partners JOC program for the monument sign for Precinct 4 Annex Building on Emerald.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is presentation for Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to award to the sole responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid for the request for hauling services of all road materials excluding hot mix. And there were 10 packets sent out. We only received one bid. We are concurring with their recommendation, Roy's Hauling.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is acceptance and approval of Amendment 1 to Professional Services Agreement with LNG Consulting Engineers, DBA LNG Engineering, to replace Exhibit C construction materials testing lab rates for fiscal year 2014-2015 for the purposes of the on-call geotechnical and construction materials testing projects for Precinct 4.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item
Marty,
B-
back on G1, what is it that the court approved? The selection of a committee?
The selection of the committee would be approved for Commissioner Flores to name them.
So he's going to name them? Okay.
He's going to name them, yes,
All
sir, subject to his naming them.
Thank you.
Item 3B, acceptance and approval of amendment number 1 to work authorization 1, correction to attachment C work schedule and D cost proposal with cost remaining the same in connection to agreement number 188 with TEDSI Infrastructure Group for the purpose of professional engineering services for reconstruction of Monmac Road from mile 11 North Road north for 0.4 miles located in Precinct 4.
For approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
C, acceptance and approval of Amendment 1 to Work Authorization 1, connection to Attachment C, work schedule and D cost proposals, with costs remaining the same. In connection with Agreement Number 189 with TEDSI Infrastructure for the purposes of professional engineering services, reconstruction of Roosevelt from the junction with Owasso Road to FM 423 Valverde Road, located in Precinct 4, pardon me.
Move for
Precinct 4.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 4 is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262-024A4, a professional service.
Approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B is the presentation of the scoring grid of the three firms. This is Construction Management Services, and this is Prodigy Construction at 98, R.H. Shackelford Incorporated at 94, and Guzman and Munoz Engineering at 95. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Authority for a purchasing to negotiate a professional contract with the number 1 ranked firm of Prodigy for construction management services for Sunflower Park in Precinct 4.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Health and Human Services, item 1. Here's where we can make some headway on my item that I asked you. This is recommendation by Hidalgo County Health and Human Services to reject all bids received and re-advertise project with modified specifications or requirements for laboratory services for Hidalgo County Department of Health and Human Services with the number 1, with the number of the project number 230.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
J is Elections Department. J1, approval to rescind action by Commissioners Court on August the 25th, 2014, agenda item number 45993, and requesting authority to enter into a new 48-month capital lease copier with Rico Oficio MP 7501 SP through our membership with DIR, which is a co-op. The awarded vendor is Rico, contract number 1674, through requisition 264-695, with a monthly payment of $300.57 plus maintenance of $88 per month, effective upon approval.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item K, this is a request and recommendation as such action is in the best interest of Hidalgo County for Commissioners Court to accept and amend and include a mutual addition of a helper in the amount of $30 regular and $45 for after hours and holidays for the request for sealed bids sent out by the Sheriff's Department for boiler repair services and solicited, as I said, through the Sheriff's Department staff and awarded to responsible vendor South Coast Boiler, submitting the lowest and best bid for 1 year with option to renew for an additional 2 one-year terms, but in no event to exceed $50,000 statutory bid limit. That was an item that was erroneously left out of the RFSQ, so we're asking you to include it.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is ratification and acceptance and approval of invoice number 5056, dated 6/16/14, from South Coast Boiler Service Incorporated in the amount of $805 through PO number 705487, which includes the line item for 7 hours as with the helper, with authority for the county treasurer to issue payment after the auditor has completed their procedures.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is presentation by project engineer Chanine Engineering LLC for Hidalgo County to award to responsible vendor Central Air and Heating, submitting the lowest and best bid and meeting all specifications in the amount of $5,990,000 for bid number 047 for the Sheriff's Office, Hidalgo County Adult Detention Center and Law Enforcement Facility roof and/or air conditioning repairs and/or replacements. I know there was a question raised by the auditor.
Yeah, we're recommending not approval of this item for several reasons. The contract, insurance, and legal counsel review and approval was not attached. And also the designated funding for this item has been identified as certificates of obligation. At this point, because we have not reviewed all the documentation, we don't know whether or not the CLs can be utilized. I think at this point, based on what we know, is general fund funds would have to be used for this.
Okay,
for
let
the
me
sewers.
answer one part of your concern. First of all, this is just the award of the bid. The company still has to come up with the payment performance bonds. We're going to bring a contract back. This is merely awarding the bid itself, just like for the construction of a building. They need to come up with the PMP. Now, on the issue that you're raising about the COs being used,
yeah.
I'll let Mr. Sergio.
Because you're awarding the bid, but the funding that has been identified at this point.
I understand
is-
that, but I'm telling you, as far as a contract with legal, that is not at this point. It's merely the bid award, and then they have to produce.
No, okay.
Judge, Commissioners, I believe that once the auditor reviews the scope of work that's in the agenda, he'll, I think, concur that the useful life of the asset will be improved by over 10 years. Again, the reason why we're going about doing these renovations of the facility is because of defects in the craftsmanship. I have requested that we get a statement from the project engineer to attest basically to the fact that the useful life of these improvements will be greater than 10 years, and at that point, we should be able to use CO proceeds for this renovations.
So what are you saying at this point, you're requesting court approval to award the bid to the lowest responsible bidder? Based on the recommendation from the engineer?
Then she's going to bring it back.
You know, you're going to bring it back to,
Yes, it
as
still
far
has
as
to
the
go through
contract?
that process, right. This is merely awarding the bid.
Yeah. All right, I guess at that point, we need to.
We should have
revisit-
yes, we should have the statement. We will present that, also that statement to bond counsel just for his review, and it would be good to have it all in our files in case we ever do get audited regarding the CO. We will have that documentation, basically attesting that the useful life of this renovations would be greater than 10 years, which is
Because
basically...
at the point of awarding the contract, that's when we need
Correct.
to.
We'll have all that
Get all the
fixed.
documentation.
Yes, that still remains to be brought back.
Move for approval?
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And the item 3A is presentation of the scoring evaluation grid for purposes of Hidalgo County's determination as qualified so as to proceed with the next step of the procurement process of the sole response received from Dr. John Lung, MD, as detailed in the documentation attached herein for professional physician services for inmates of Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office. So we're asking you to designate him as qualified to proceed with the next step.
Move for approval?
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is authority for purchasing and other county staff to negotiate, and the other county staff would be with the Sheriff's Department in conjunction with them, a contract with the qualified physician of Dr. John Lung, MD.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.
And then 3 is requesting authority to advertise pursuant to a request by the Sheriff's Department to put out a new RFQ in order to try to engage a third physician, as the amount of inmates require that we do have now at least 3 physicians and not just 2.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
If I may be permitted, is there executive session? I would like to be able to get you the correct notes on that item and come back after executive session to award properly.
Item 3, the one that.
Yes.
With the concrete?
Only because I said someone took my notes, and inadvertently, I'm sure, so I have had to reconstruct it, and I am not clear on that item. So if I could be permitted either a little bit of time or if after executive.
All right, well, we're going to go into executive, and when we get out,
Yes, sir, I'll be prepared. Thank you.
need a motion to proceed to executive session pursuant to 551-071 and 072. Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. We're in executive session. It's 12:10. Mr. who?
Marty.
Alde, you got the agenda? I don't have mine with me. I left
I've
it.
got the agenda. Judge, we're going to go into open session.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you, Judge. We're going into open session, item 24. So the open session, real estate acquisition appropriation for same, there's no action. Pending under potential litigation, there is no action to be taken.
No.
Item C, just proceed as directed under deliberation, under economic development negotiations. Item D, civil action number 713 CV 00262 Ezequiel C. Jurado et al. Versus Guadalupe Trevino, Sheriff, Hidalgo County and Hidalgo County. Judge Commissioners, we do have another settlement offer that I'd like to propose to the court, or settlement document, in settlement of one of the litigants in this case, and that litigant is Luis de la Garza, and I'd like the court to entertain a motion and action in settlement of Luis de la Garza, one of the litigants, in the amount of $22,000.
Move for approval.
Is that on D, on the
D,
Ezequiel
yes,
Jurado?
sir, D, yes. And
Those
that
in
is,
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
that is one of the litigants. Item E, Erasmo Chapa versus Hidalgo County Judge Commissioners. I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $9,000. If the court accepts given me that authority, then, and if accepted, I would ask that there would be two checks, Erasmo Chapa and Ezequiel Chapa, each in the amount of $4,500 for a total amount of $9,000.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Claim of Gustavo Chapa, DBA Liberty Auto Sales. Judge Commissioners, I'd like to entertain for the court to entertain action in settlement of, in the amount of $2,000.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Claim of Clarissa Ruiz. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of, in settlement of BI, $35,000.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And claim of Griselda Sauceda. Judge Commissioners, I'd like settlement authority to make an offer in the amount of $280.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners.
Marty, what number was it?
Okay, we're going to 22A2 and 3. Item 2 first. This is the responsible vendor, we're recommending the sole responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid for Hidalgo County, all laboratory services, all funding sources for laboratory services through project number 288. That would be Center for Disease Detection Incorporated. There were over 21 packets sent, but we only had one response. Centers for Disease Detection Incorporated.
You need action on that?
Yes, sir.
That was for 22A3, Marty?
A2, you already had
A2.
A.
You had action on that before, right?
Yeah, and I've got to go to 3 now. It's 2 and 3 that I'm going to take up. 2 is the first one.
Two was already approved on the.
2 was already approved.
West Laboratory.
No, it's not West Laboratory. I'm trying to
Okay.
make, I apologize then.
So then we need to rescind
To
our
rescind the
previous
action.
action.
Let's rescind the previous action.
22A2.
Move for approval to rescind the action.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Now I'm asking you to take action, the sole bidder, which was Center for Disease Distribution for Hidalgo County Laboratory Services, all funding sources, and it was the sole bid received with 21 packets distributed.
Move for approval.
Check.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is the presentation for the purposes of award of the responsible vendor submitting the lowest and best bid. And this is for Hidalgo County. Please X out Health and Human Services. Concrete mix and delivery services. We had 8 packets picked up, 2 responses received, and the recommended awarded vendor is CEMEX.
Move for approval.
But it's just for Hidalgo County, not Health Department.
Hidalgo County only.
Need a second? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And I apologize for the delay and the confusion. Thank you very much.
All right, Marty.
Need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries.